Imagine a powerful neighbor suddenly demanding your land, your culture, your way of life, and calling it justified. That's what's happening in Ukraine right now. In the next 5 minutes, we'll uncover why Russia invaded. Not myths or propaganda, but evidence, documents, and eyewitness accounts. By the end, you'll see exactly what's at stake for Ukraine, for Russia, and for the world. The first point is historical context and identity claim. Russia's long narrative. Ukraine and Russia are one people, a claim repeatedly made in Putin's essays and speeches. But historians contest this. Ukraine has had its own identity, statehood, language, and political institutions. Legacy of the Soviet era. Ukrainian territory, culture, governance were suppressed under USSR control. Post-1991 independence. Russia struggled to accept Ukraine going fully independent and turning westward, example NATO, in EU aspirations. Second reason, geopolitics and security. NATO's eastward expansion is often cited by Russia as a direct threat. Putin demanded security guarantees to prevent Ukraine from ever joining NATO. But critics argue this was a pretext, not a real existential threat. Buffer zone logic. Russia sees Ukraine as a strategic buffer between itself and Europe and West. Control of the Black Sea coast and naval access. Crimea is vital naval territory. Russia seized it in 2014. Economic and energy leverage. Pipelines, trade routes that run through Ukraine give influence and control over energy flows into Europe. Third reason, pretexts and disinformation. Russia claimed that genocide was happening in Donbass and that it needed to protect Russian speakers. These claims have been widely discredited for lack of evidence. Claims that Ukraine was developing nuclear weapons or denazifying Ukraine have no credible support. Information warfare. Russia uses disinformation campaigns, state media, and censorship to shape narratives domestically and abroad. Fourth being the military actions and evidence on ground. In 2022, Russia launched a full-scale invasion, targeting civilian infrastructure, hospitals, water systems, bridges. After Russian forces withdrew from suburbs around Kyiv, example Bucha and Irpin, mass graves and bodies showing signs of torture and summary executions were found. Amnesty International documented war crimes, attacks on civilian homes, illegal killings, looting. Russia's annexation of parts of eastern and southern Ukraine, Donetsk, Luhansk, Kherson, Zaporizhzhia, was done via unrecognized referendums while under occupation. Fifth reason is the goal, what Russia wants and what it gains. To break Ukraine as a sovereign state, Russia seeks to subordinate Ukraine's foreign policy, deny it from aligning with the West, create a land corridor to Crimea, to connect Russian territory with the annexed Crimea, extract economic, territorial, and resource control like minerals, agriculture, and energy, deter or intimidate other former Soviet states from orienting westwards, propaganda victory, demonstrating Russia's strength domestically, showing it can defy Western sanctions. Finally, in the costs, resistance, and the ongoing struggle. Russian military losses, thousands of tanks and armored vehicles destroyed or captured. Civilian resistance and Ukrainian counteroffensives have held back Russia's advance. International isolation and sanctions have economically squeezed Russia. Worldwide condemnation, legal efforts on war crimes probes, ICC warrants targeting Russian leaders. Russia's invasion is not merely a regional dispute. It's a battle over sovereignty, global power, and truth. The evidence shows a design to erase Ukraine's independence, to remake its borders, to bend it to Moscow. But as millions fight, bury the dead, and stand their ground, Ukraine's existence itself has become the proof of resistance. If this struggle fails, the principle that nations are free to choose their own path may be next. Stay alert. The story of Ukraine is not over. It affects us all.